welcome to the Expanding Entrepreneur podcast, where we support entrepreneurs and small teams expand their reach, their impact, and their profits figures, plus reach their greatest potential in business and in life. I'm your host, Lisi Kempton, the founder of SoulTree Operations. We're a business growth agency located in Boulder, Colorado. And we've been guiding entrepreneurs and small teams to strategic, scalable, and sustainable success for almost 20 years. Actually, I think it is 20 years now. Our guest today is Gina Stenback, a marketing strategist and copywriter with over 20 years of experience. And you might know her from the community if you're in Boulder because she's a rock star. But before I introduce Gina, in case you are new to Get Vocal, let me tell you how this works. If you're here in the platform, then you'll see that there's some boxes where at the end of the interview, you will be able to grab a box if you want to. It's called Camming Up, and you actually will be live, and you can ask Gina questions, or you can always post questions in the message chat box there on the left. If you're not in the Get Vocal platform, you might be seeing this live on Facebook, which is fine. You could totally watch it there, and it should be on YouTube too. But you will not be able to interact with us if you are on Facebook. So let me introduce Gina and then bring her into the onto the stage here. Gina is a marketing strategist and copywriter on a mission to help bold entrepreneurs simplify their marketing so they can attract their most ideal clients, sell their services, and fill their programs with ease. She takes a holistic approach to customizing the best marketing roadmap specific to where your business is today. Gina helps you craft your winning message and discover your ultimate niche so you attract the clients you want to work with. When you work with Gina, you'll ditch the marketing overwhelm and focus on only the highest return marketing for your business. Imagine having a simple marketing strategy with copy that grabs the audience that wants exactly what you have to offer. All right, let's bring Gina on to the show. Wait, I lost my control panel here. I'm supposed to unlock these boxes and suddenly they disappear. Hang on, Gina, hang tight. I got to figure out how to unlock these boxes so you can get on there. Oh, there we go. Sorry. It was spacing out. Okay, Gina, come on in. Welcome to the Expanding Entrepreneur podcast. There you are. Yay. Hi, Gina. Thanks for joining.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
And we should warn people that, is it still 60-mile-an-hour winds in where you live?
It's a little bit more calm down now. Yes, thank you. But we still have it.
Okay, if we lose power,
here, but
that's why. It's not because Gina left intentionally. She got cut off. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's start with my first question. There's usually a story behind every entrepreneur's business, and I'd imagine that you have a story as well. Can you share a little bit of background about yourself and how your business came to be? What made you become an entrepreneur?
Honestly, I don't remember what made me become an entrepreneur. I've always been very bold and very much a risk taker. I was brought up in an entrepreneurial household. My dad had multiple businesses, and so that probably had something to do with it. I have had a background in the business side of the fitness, health, and wellness industry for well over 15 years. And I have done everything in that business, including co-owning and building from scratch a full service 12,000 square foot facility, which was an incredibly humbling learning experience. Yeah. But I have been on the entrepreneurial side of that. And of course, I'm had something to do with marketing all of those years as well, especially back then, even doing direct marketing more than we have, you know, for lack of a better word, back in the day, we didn't have all of the channels and the opportunities that we have today with email marketing, social media, all the cool stuff that we have today. So I definitely have dabbled in a lot of that, as well as the nitty gritty of the business, and then all of the cool wellness and fitness things. My business today, which is full blown marketing and copywriting, is I've been in this business now for the last 4 years. And you know how they say that the biggest contributor to change is pain, right?
Yep.
So this business really was born out of pain. The pain of losing multiple businesses, and also then the pain of watching other entrepreneurs go through the same because of just trying to do it all and failing at marketing. And unfortunately, businesses thrive on sales, the sales thrive on leads, and leads thrive on marketing. So you kind of have to have all of those for, for any business to really thrive and succeed. And really fortunately for me, about 5 years ago, 5 to 6 years ago, I moved to Colorado from Florida. And I had transitioned into, I was in the fitness industry, I was in the wellness, holistic, all of that. And I had transitioned more into more like a holistic health coaching practice. And there are many reasons why things weren't working for me with that. But one of the things is I was trying to do it all at once, and all of the marketing, all of the little pieces, plus the coaching, plus developing the programs, plus everything that we have to do as entrepreneurs. And the main reason for a lot of things not working out was not really marketing, which was actually something that I was really thriving at and loving. And at the time I was doing one of those summits, those like expert summits, telesummits, video summits that we do in our businesses to grow our list and get clients. So I was doing one of those, which was very successful, actually. But it wasn't enough to save my business at the time. And I was juggling trying to build my business and doing several side gigs and what I like to call side hustles at the time. And one of them was helping other entrepreneurs do their summits and doing all the content and copy for that. And it was one of my favorite things to do. So long story short, it was sort of a natural progression. And I was just like, I'm just going to dive into this and do this full time. And so I did. Really happy I did, because it's really where I needed to, in the direction I needed to go at that time. Not going to say that letting go of a 20 to 15-year-old business and background was easy, but it stemmed from watching people not being able to do it and succeed. And I'm like, I can help you do this, and I can help you impact other people by helping you do it.
That is such a great story, Gina. And you also bring up a really good point that I think is important for entrepreneurs to listen to, that even though you're doing all of those different things in your business, you really should identify the things that you are passionate about that really fulfill you, because it could change what you do. And it did in your case. You decided that wasn't where you wanted to be as a business owner, doing all of those different things. You wanted to focus more on just the marketing, and that's what lit you up. So I think that's a really good message to share with entrepreneurs listening today, that they should definitely pay attention to the work that they're doing and see where they're like, ugh, I don't want to do that. And yay, you know, that feels really good, because that could really impact where they spend their time. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And especially as you're expanding, because this is the Expanding Entrepreneur Show, it's really important to look at, like, say, like a quadrant of, and I know you teach this in your programs as well, a quadrant of, like, what am I really good at, you know, that needs to be done. What am I good at but don't like doing? You know, what don't I like to do at all and I'm not good at? And that should be the first thing that you outsource.
Yes, that's so true. Good point. Everybody take notes. That's one of the important things, I think, as an expanding entrepreneur to pay attention to. Okay, so who, based on all of the work that you do now, who is your ideal client, and what do you, how do you support them? Like, what specifically are you offering so the expanding entrepreneur?
Absolutely. Yes. Service-based entrepreneurs are, and I know that's a really broad, so I can get really down and narrow down, but service-based entrepreneurs, I work a lot with coaches in both the wellness and the business space. And specifically those who are looking to launch a program, a service, a course. And what I do is I help them focus on only the marketing pieces that they know that they need to focus on for their launch. And I do this with a customized 90-day plan that is specifically geared to their business, to where they are at in their business, to their specific launch, and also we have to take into account their audience, their ideal clients, their tribe. And then the other thing that I do is help them to really have the right copy for their audience, so that all of those efforts actually get traction and get seen, open, heard, looked at, all of that.
So I actually have two questions related to that. The first one is, how important do you think marketing copy is then when, I guess, doing anything, whether you're launching a new program or a product or just trying to attract, I mean, mostly we're trying to attract new leads and generate sales. So how important is having effective marketing copy to accomplishing those goals?
It's 80% of your results, depending. And copy is not just written copy. A lot of copy, and by the way, what we're talking about is copywriting, which is essentially sales copy. And just so that everybody listening knows, the purpose of copy or sales copy is to get somebody to take an action. Okay. So whether that action is to follow you on social media, or that action is to put in their email so they get your freebie, so they get on your list, or their action is to actually click buy on your program, or to join your video, to join your, to listen to your podcast. So whatever that action might be, the reason for copy is to get somebody to take an action. When we're talking about emails, for example, or even a social media post, think about like an email subject line. That's a great example of copy. And the subject line purpose is to get the person to open the email. Then the first line in that email should be to get the person to read the next line and the next line. So it's really just sort of, so it's incredibly important to have compelling copy in your marketing, and especially geared towards your ideal client. And we can go a lot more in depth into that, depending on how much you want to go into it. And I also have a lot of free materials that I'm happy to give your tribe, your audience, that they can really get down a little deeper into that.
Yeah, that's great. I'm sure they will definitely find value in all your freebies. You have a lot of great freebies. So whoever is listening, if you want them, reach out and ask, and we'll send them. So let's switch gears a little bit. We were talking more broadly about marketing strategy and copy. Let's go a little bit more narrow to social media marketing, because that's such a hot topic these days. And I said this in the intro, like when I hear social, that is not my area. Like I just don't, that does not light me up. Like when we talked about the things that you should do and not do in your business, like that is definitely something I outsource. So how important is it for people to have a social media marketing strategy? To me, it seems like as an entrepreneur, you have to have not only a presence, but you need to be very actively engaged in a social media marketing strategy in order to succeed. Is that just my perception? Am I wrong about that? Or what's your feeling?
Uh-oh. You're not wrong. And when people, so this is going to be actually part of another, I think we're going to be talking a little bit about what a successful social media strategy entails. And so the very first thing to remember about social media is that it's called social for a reason. It is social. And whatever, it doesn't mean, okay, so whatever platform you choose to be on, and you don't need them all. That's one of the things that I help people with, is you don't have to do it all. But whatever media or platform you choose, it should be, there's strategy behind what to choose too. But you need to have a presence, even if you're going to outsource it. Okay, because yes, you can outsource creating the content, you can outsource scheduling it, all of that. But even if you outsource it, it's super important that you have a presence in there, and that you are social and you are real and you are vulnerable, and there's stories in there involved. I don't mean stories that you have to use the platforms that have story, but everything behind your campaigns, your goals, all of that. Anything that, it goes back to like copy. When you want somebody to take an action, people work off of emotion. We are humans, and we take action based on emotion. So if you're just, even if you're not there, even if you want to outsource, if you're not there yourself, people will smell that a mile away. They want to buy from you because they like you. And really, we all have, a lot of us in the business world, we all have similar stuff that other people have. People are going to buy from you because of you, and not because of your product or program or course or what have you. So it's very important, to whatever platform you choose, to have a presence, to be there consistently, and to be engaged. I'm not saying that you can't just disconnect and take a couple of days off or whatever. I'm not saying that, but it's important that you're there consistent.
So I do want to get to the components of the social media marketing strategy in a second, but let me ask you a follow-up question to that. So how can, because you just brought up a really good point, how can somebody who wants to outsource that stuff, like me, how do we stay engaged enough? Do you have any tips for how would I stay engaged enough in the social media marketing, my social media marketing efforts or strategy, so that I'm not doing work that really doesn't fulfill me and light me up, but I'm still representing myself so that people can have that connection with me? Do you have any tips for what specific things that entrepreneurs can do in those cases?
Absolutely. So depending on what your platform is, okay? I'm going to give you a couple of examples.
Are you talking about like Facebook, Instagram?
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and YouTube is both. It's social, but YouTube is really more of a search engine than a social platform. I even think like something like the like what we're using, the Get Vault, it's almost like a social platform, because you can go in there and do searches and participate. And So whichever platform you choose, let's say, for example, you choose Facebook, which is like the behemoth of platforms at the moment. So one way to stay engaged, I'm a big fan of groups because they get a lot more engagement than, say, just having a Facebook page or whatever. But if that's not your thing, just make sure that you're in there a few times, at least a few times a week. I mean, I recommend at least daily to just check, take 15, 20 minutes and check and comment on other people's things and post something or what have you. If you have a group, you can schedule all that stuff out, which is great, and even on your Facebook page. But even if you have a social media manager that does all of the content and scheduling out for you, go in there, if not daily, at least every other day, and post something, comment on some of your friends or people that like your pages and stuff. That have interacted with you, just show that you are a real person, and it doesn't always have to be business oriented. You can post a picture about, I don't know, your cat sleeping on your laptop, and oh my God, like I can't kick her out. I'm gonna have to take a break from work. Like make it social, make it, and then post about something that you also enjoy that lights you up. Maybe you're doing, maybe you're taking your kid to a museum thing that also teaches them culture or teaches them, or maybe you're doing a meetup and you're going and meeting friends, like, just some stuff like that. That is not, it's easy for us to like, I didn't open hardly any of my electronics this weekend, which is unusual for me. But it's like, and it's easy for me to be like, oh, that felt good. I don't want to go in there. But it's not, it's just, but make it something that you enjoy. Like be yourself, have fun with it. It doesn't always have to be business. It's when you have us, and we're going to talk about the components of the strategy, which that will have a little bit more structure to it. But those are some tips to stay engaged. In Instagram, for example, a really easy way to stay more engaged is with stories, which are quick and easy. It can be a video, it can be a picture. It doesn't have to be always in your feed. You want to have a nicer post and with some caption and the hashtags and stuff. But a good way to stay, if that's your platform, then that would be something to do. All platforms are different and they have different algorithms, and you have to be engaged in different ways. But that's just like an example of if being social isn't your thing, then just be in there at least every other day at the minimum, and make sure you're also commenting on other people's stuff.
You made a really good point. Besides the commenting and staying engaged, I think that's super important, a really good tip. But making it fun. I think that sometimes people might forget, if it's not your thing, that it can be fun. It doesn't have to be like pulling teeth and all, business. That it can be fun, because that's actually what people are going to connect with when they see you as a person outside your business, probably. Yeah, that's a good tip.
And it doesn't always have to be like perfect or just the good stuff, you know? Like this morning, I freaking had my melly, and if you're from Colorado and an outdoors person, you know what a melly is. Otherwise, I'm not into it. But anyways, I had my melly pulled down my face because I drank my coffee way too quick. It's freaking cold. We have 2 feet of snow out there, and I'm like, So it doesn't always have to be like, oh, I look perfect, and no,
that's so
no, because really life isn't.
That was real. That's how you were feeling this morning, I think. And I totally connected with that. I'm like, yes, yes, Gina, I feel you. Okay, awesome. So let's move to the next question, which is super important. We keep touching on it. I think we're teasing everybody. What are the components of a successful, and let's just focus on social media. What are the components of a successful social media marketing strategy? Like, what do people absolutely need to be doing or know about?
So the first one I just talked about, which is understanding that social media is social, and you have to remember that it is a social platform first and foremost, and you have to have a presence. The second one, it actually has to do with regular foundations of business and marketing, and it's understanding whichever platform you choose, and you're going to choose a platform where your ideal clients are, or where your ideal students are, depending on what that's going to look like, whether it's a program or a course or just individual clients. So you're going to choose a platform based on your audience. So you have to know your audience. You have to know where they hang out. You have to know what they like and don't like. So that is also a component of social media strategy, because you have to understand that. Just like with anything else, and there's more. I'm gonna kind of shorten them here and keeping them a little bit general. Just like with anything else in business, you have to have a clear goal, okay, for your social media strategy. I'm not saying that you can't do personal stuff, all whatever, without having a clear goal. But when you're using a social media strategy for your business, you want to have a clear goal for whatever campaign you're doing. So, this is also going to help you create that content. So say, for example, and yes, you should have a general business social media strategy, okay? But within those, you're going to have different campaigns, okay, for different things that you're doing in your business. And these are going to involve, and obviously content marketing is part of your social media strategy. Okay. So having that clear goal is going to help you create that content. So say, for example, you are going to run a challenge in the beginning of next quarter, okay, or the next month. That challenge is going to be to either help you grow your list or help you grow an audience that you're going to put into a webinar that you're going to use to sell a program. So there's all these little components, but you have a clear goal. So you know that your content for that specific campaign for this next month is going to be geared towards that challenge. Okay. When it comes to content marketing, and especially like copywriting, you want to keep things very you want to simplify, keep things clear, and you always want to have in every piece of content that you have for your business, if you have a clear goal, and this includes your social media strategy, your content for your social media, every piece of content should have a call to action. Okay. Otherwise, you're kind of wasting time. And you might think that you're pestering people with a call to action. Okay. You're not. We live in a very noisy world that requires all kinds of tons of decisions of us, which tax our energy. And I know we are going to be talking a ton about that in our events on Friday. So if you're a local Colorado person, join us then. But we like to be told what to do, to be given direction. Okay, that call to action doesn't always necessarily mean buy my stuff. Actually, it shouldn't be, but it should be. It can be just comment below, or you like what you see, share it, or it can be that give me a question, throw me a question in there. So every piece of content should have a question. So having a clear goal for your specific campaign for each month or quarter will help you create that content, will help you choose your call to actions. Okay, I kind of went on a little bit of a tangent then, but it was having a clear goal leads to all of those other things. Okay, and of course having a content calendar and schedule, so you know what you're going to be posting when, and having that clear goal will help you do that. And last but not least is having consistent, engaging content that it is aligned with you, with your brand, and also with your audience. So those are I think there's like 4 components. There's a little bit more. We can go into metrics and analytics and all of that, but I think that keeping those the main ones here is what's important. So you have to be social, present, have a clear goal, know your audience, and be consistent with your messaging.
Those are really good ones. Yeah, let's just leave it simple because I think those are the main components, and it can get too complex and overwhelming. So a follow-up question to that is, I've made the mistake in the past of trying to do too many things at once. Would your recommendation be to expanding entrepreneurs to focus on one event? Like, I think I was promoting a couple of things at one time. And to me, that seemed like it was getting confusing for me as well. Like, I wasn't able to really keep up with promoting each thing very clearly and very consistently. Does that get confusing for audiences? Is that your recommendation, to focus on one kind of big either event like your launch or a book or something like that? Or can people do more than one?
Yeah, I would say yeah, absolutely. And especially like our businesses have different moving parts, okay? And we have different things to promote in different areas. One good thing might be, say, for example, have one big thing that you're promoting at any given time. And it might just be like a week. Maybe you're just promoting a free thing that you have, okay? And that's fine if you're using your main page, say, for example, your main page or your main profile, even. You can use your personal profile for your business. Try to say, don't promote like 2 different things on like the same day or even the same week. Keep it some consistency. You can most certainly do certain different, say, for example, you're promoting in different, this is a little bit different with other platforms. But say, for example, we're going to do the example of Facebook. You can use different groups to promote different things. Okay. So say, for example, maybe you're like, you know how like different groups have days of like that they promote, have a promo thread, that you can use different ones and promote different things in that's fine. I would say for your own personal sanity, and then for those of your clients, and then maybe just try to maybe at least separate them by week, so that you're not doing one thing this hour and one other thing another hour. And does that make sense?
Yeah, that's really good advice for sure. Yeah.
But Lisi, the single one most important thing that I want to say here, even if you're promoting different things within the same time frame, the most important thing is per piece. Okay? Per piece of content, only one thing, only one call to action.
Yep. Yeah. That makes sense for sure. Do you have, if somebody was going to do this on their own, do you have tools that you recommend using for scheduling or automating, or are there any tools that you use to help?
Yeah, I would say there's a lot of different types of tools out there. Social media platforms, except for Twitter. Twitter, you can schedule away and they let you do it. And you can use things like HotSuite is a very popular one, especially for Twitter. I will say that for Facebook, it is really easy to get in Facebook jail, what we call Facebook jail, when you use other third-party automation tools. I would say have a calendar. If you have a Facebook page, a business page, you can schedule out posts manually and not get in trouble. If you have a Facebook group, the same thing. You can schedule out posts and not get in trouble. I would not, Facebook does not like third-party automation things. It just doesn't. If you're a small entrepreneur, solopreneur, maybe you have a team, maybe you have a virtual assistant, she can help you schedule things out. I wouldn't get into that if Facebook is your platform. With Instagram, there's a few different things you can use. I like a tool called Latergram, and it allows you to create a content calendar with the post already in there, and you can do it if you do the paid version. You can also use it for stories. Yeah, so
cool. Okay.
I hope
That's super helpful for anybody who wants to try this on their own, or you can just outsource it all to
that too.
We touched on a lot of really important points, and so I'm not sure if you'll have like one hot tip, but do you have one hot tip? Like, what would be the main thing you'd want to tell expanding entrepreneurs about marketing or social media marketing that will help them on their path to expansion? You had a lot of tips.
Yes, I mean, I have plenty of tips. So here's the thing. No matter what platforms, tools, tactics, and I know, Lisi, you can talk about this a lot, and so can I. They really all have basically the same things, that are pros and cons, or the way that you use them. The most important thing to remember, and so I'm going to give you a couple of different tips. So the most important thing to remember is that marketing is all about relationships. Do we have a lot more that we can use and utilize now? But marketing hasn't changed that much from, early days to it is today. So it really is the foundations of it is all about relationships. So really get to know your market, your audience, build a solid relationship with them. And this also should be from the heart. Like, you should, a relationship that you care, that you have a solution to their biggest problem. And, it's just, if you're not in front of them, they won't be able to find you, and then you can't help them. So it's all about relationships. And especially in this day and age, it's about visibility, clarity, consistency. I talked a little bit about that, but whatever marketing strategy you have, you need a clear, compelling, consistent message throughout your brand and your communications. And then you have to stay visible. I hear so many people, I don't want to bug. I don't like, people have a ton of stuff coming at them. It takes a minimum of 7 to 12 times for people to even give you an email address. So you have to be visible and consistent, but provide value. Don't just post once and say, hey, buy my stuff. Hi. So that is, and then for the and I'm going extra here, but for the expanding entrepreneur, if you said if I had one tip for the expanding entrepreneur, is simplify as much as you can. Simplify, delegate, and or eliminate. When we are starting out, we have to say yes to a lot of things. It's just part of the growth and part of getting there. When you get to the expansion time, it's time to close some of those yes doors and prioritize only what's going to move your business forward.
So important. That's actually an awesome tip. Yeah. What can you say no to? It really is like so important. What can you say no to? And it doesn't have to be for forever. It's just for a short period of time, but you do have to say no to a lot of things when you're expanding your business, for sure. Otherwise you just burn out and you just can't keep up. Yeah. That's an awesome tip.
Yeah, and it's a gradual thing, because you're used to, if you're in an expansion point of your business, it means that you have been saying yes to a lot for a while. So there's a moment that you have to say, whoa, I can't do it all anymore.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, outsource, I guess you don't necessarily have to say no, but you need to outsource, right? You're not saying yes to yourself doing it. You need to find a virtual assistant at that point to outsource some of that stuff too. So Ooh, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Good point, Gina. Let me think what else I was going to ask you along those lines. I can't remember. We'll see if it comes back to me. I do want to know what has you fired up this year. Like, what are some big things you're working on that you want to talk about?
Sure. So one of my biggest things for this year has been like collaborations. So collaborating with some other entrepreneurs, some other teams, speaking more, always simplify. I'm always finding ways to simplify is has me fired up. And then I have a brand new part of my business that I basically is pretty new. So it's a group I am growing, and with that group is also an interview series show, and it's called the Vibrant Business. Bold and Vibrant Business Collective is the group, and then Bold and Vibrant Biz Show. And so I am going to be launching that next month. Well, the group is already there, but I'm going to be launching that next month, and it's a little bit different than the regular. It's not only for entrepreneurs. This is all about people who are bold, vibrant. Yes, a lot of entrepreneurs, change makers, rule breakers, corporate stars, just people who are really passionate about making a change and being a leader in whatever that looks like for you, whether it's in the entrepreneurial service-based world or if it's in a corporate, but leadership, boldness, vibrancy, and I just want to have a lot of fun with it. So that's has me.
Congratulations! That's awesome. And we should take a minute to mention our event on Friday. On Friday,
yes.
in Boulder, 10 o'clock. Expand your business with confidence. We're having a workshop. Gina and I will be there, and we'll be with 3 other experienced local female entrepreneurs, and we're all sharing our experience and wisdom about business expansion and how to expand successfully and sustainably and without losing your mind. Right?
And I know we're covering a lot. So you guys, we have you covered.
Yep.
From foundation, scalable foundation, to branding, to marketing, to self-care. We've got you covered.
There's going to be a lot. It's 3 hours, so we're kind of packing a lot of content in there. Awesome. So what else? Anything else you want to share with the expanding entrepreneur audience? Anything else you've been working on? Any other words of wisdom? I mean, we covered a lot. You don't have to say anymore.
Yeah,
I just want to give you the opportunity.
You speak a lot about this, and I have some experience myself, having reached a point of complete burnout a couple of times. Keep an eye on that. Be aware of where you're at. Be aware of where you need to take a little break or set some boundaries, or because as much as it is important to work on all the business pieces, on everything that entails, which is a ton, if you reach that point that you're like, I just can't deal with that anymore, then your business will suffer, if not worse. So it's a huge thing that I have. And then it's okay to do things where you're at, where you stand right now. Don't be afraid to what I call jump into the deep end without your floaties from time to time, and fail. It's okay, because you only get good at stuff after you've done it for a while. When you first start out, you won't be really that great. And when it comes to marketing and being visible and keeping yourself visible with consistent content, it's not until you do it that you get good at it. So it's okay. Don't be afraid to are your first few Facebook Lives going to suck? Probably, but you know what? You're mostly doing it for yourself than for anybody else. So just do it. Do it and try to have fun with it.
Yeah, I remember the first time I did a Facebook Live, I was like, no, I can't hit the button. It was so hard to hit the button. Now I've done it a few times and it's not a big deal. But it is kind of scary the first time, especially if you're not an extrovert. If you're not used to putting yourself out there, it's scary. But yes, I survived. I lived to tell the tale, so it can be done.
Yeah.
Okay, so how can people reach you if they want to? If you want to work with Gina, marketing strategy, copywriting, social media marketing strategy, social media marketing audits. I think that's a big one to mention because you help people optimize their social channels and identify what they're missing. So I think that's a big one. So how can people reach you if they want to work with you?
Yeah. Really easy is just my name, GinaStenback.com. It's my website. And then you can find me the same way on Facebook. I'm in there in several different groups, and I'm in there on my regular personal profile. Do I take breaks and disconnect? Absolutely. But yeah, so Gina Stenback. You can find me on Facebook, or you can find me. My website is GinaStenback.com.
And it's Stenback, right? Stenback, just the way that it sounds. Okay,
and I'm happy to post a link on the under the Facebook
live. Why don't you do that?
This goes
I wonder
into.
if we can post. Oops, I don't want to navigate away. It asked me if I want to navigate away. I wonder if we can post it in the chat box here. I'm going to try to do this because I've never tried this before. So I'm going to try something new. I'm going to do this. Gina. Wait, I have to say understand cookies first. And I'm also going to, while I'm doing that, I'm going to open. Awesome, you did it.
Just posted it. I don't know if that's in there. Yeah.
And I'm going to unlock the boxes. So if anybody is in the Get Vocal platform, either on the computer or on their mobile device, if you want to ask Gina any questions, you will be live, and you just, which is fine. It's not horrible. It's actually kind of fun. You click on one of the boxes that says grab this spot, and then it's called cammed up. You'll be camming up into the Get Vocal platform to ask Gina questions. So we'll give people a minute if anybody's there and they want to ask you a question. And let's think about what else we can talk about while we're waiting. What else is going on in the world? How much snow did you get? Actually,
you know what? We got, well, it's still snowing. We had a little bit of, seems to me like over a foot. I mean, I'm short, but it was to my knees, basically. But one thing that I wanted to add, just for value's sake, is that big, huge component of your business and marketing is having traffic that you own. Okay. And what that means is building your own list. So if you haven't started yet, make sure you start. And feel free to reach out if you have questions on how to do that. And if you've started, it's something that you always want to continue to grow, because as cool as social media is, we don't control it and we don't own it. And you never know what's going to happen tomorrow, if Facebook's going to be down, or if Mark Zuckerberg decides to say, I don't want to do this anymore and shut it down, or Skynet comes or whatever. So just big, huge part of growing your business and your marketing is owning your own traffic, and that basically means a list.
That is a really
just
huge point. So valuable. And I feel like, and I know actually email is still a very valid way to connect with people, even though email boxes are overloaded. That is still one of the most, I think it still gets the best conversions. Yeah, people, once in a while I hear somebody say, no, it's dead, you shouldn't do it anymore. But the statistics absolutely say that it's still number one in engagement and conversion. So own those names, because then you can follow up. Nice. All right, Gina, thanks so much for joining us today on the Expanding Entrepreneur podcast. That was super valuable content that you shared with our audience. And I guess I'll look forward to seeing you on Friday at our live event. Hopefully people will.
I'll see you on Friday. Yeah.
People can join us. All right. Thanks, Gina.
Bye. All right.
Bye. I'm going to actually announce Elizabeth, who's our guest for next week, since Gina calmed down. So join us next week, Monday. I think I'm doing it Monday at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. Our guest is Elizabeth Winter-Plum from Uncommon Coaching. Elizabeth is a personal development and confidence coach, which entrepreneurs need a lot of to succeed, since mindset is 80% of the game. I think Gina maybe gave a different statistic on that, but join us next week on Monday and you'll learn some of the strategies Elizabeth teaches her clients to help them overcome limiting beliefs, holding them back from achieving their greatest potential. So next week, right now set for Monday. That could change. If it does, I'll let you know. But thank you for joining us today. Episode 3 of the Expanding Entrepreneur Podcast with Gina Stenback, marketing strategist and copyright expert. See you next week.